Okay. Okay. All right. We are live at the moment. It says live in. We've entered the broadcast, but live in. We're live. My apologies. Good evening, everyone. If you are awake this time of night, wherever you are in South Africa, wherever you are in the world, maybe it's daytime wherever you are. My guest uh, this afternoon, where he is, which is 4 p.m. somewhere outside Philadelphia. My guest is Philly Golden Teacher, also known as PGT. I refer to him as an underground psychedelic mushroom farmer. Um, Welcome, PGT.
Thank you very much for having me, Warren. I'm glad to be here.
Thank you. Would that be accurate? Could you be described as an underground psychedelic mushroom farmer?
Uh, I suppose, in a way, I like to think of myself as um, teaching the cultivation hobby through mycologists. This more general, broad term. Um, but yeah, my teachings can be applied towards any field of the fungi family.
Okay. Okay. Do you? But your channel is anonymous. Is that right?
Yes, that's right.
Okay. Yeah. When you're dealing with psychedelic mushrooms, of course, there's a big risk involved. Do you think about the risks?
I do.
What?
I've well, I mean, when I started the channel, started making videos about this,
Yeah.
I had already knew what the risks were coming into it, and I decided to take them.
Yeah.
Nowadays, I don't think too much about them anymore because it's really out of my control. Why
Yeah.
worry about something that you can't control? All it's going to
Yeah.
do is just create you more stress. So
Yeah.
I don't think about that too much anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. Just to give our viewers a little snippet. How did you get into growing psychedelic mushrooms? What brought you to where you are today, to be in mushroom cultivation and in teaching others how to do it on your YouTube channel, Philly Golden Teacher?
Okay. So it started maybe at the end of 2016. Um, uh, I was just kind of going through a pretty dark and depressing time in my life where I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with my life career wise. I was dealing with anxiety, depression,
Yeah,
addiction is a big thing that has been in my life as well.
yeah,
And I've been through the cycle of mental illness um, for almost half of my life. I'm growing on to almost 31 now, so it's something I battled with for a long time. And I've tried conventional therapy. I've seen a psychiatrist. I've been put on different numbers of anxiety medication, antidepressants. I've tried them all, and I did not like the side effects that those traditional medicines were giving
oh
me,
yeah,
and I just couldn't take it anymore. The side effects were just way too bad. They got rid of my anxiety, but in terms of getting rid of the anxiety, they numbed all of my other emotions.
yeah,
Um, the lack of appetite, the restlessness, in terms of getting sleep. I wake up in the middle of the night every single night that I was on that type of medication,
yeah,
and I stopped. Being on the medication gave me even more anxiety because it made me think about my dependence on this type of medication to deal with it,
yeah.
and it just wasn't. It's just a very bad cycle to be in. So I stopped taking it. I started looking at other alternatives to help me battle with my addiction. And I
Okay,
came across a TED talk that spoke about psilocybin and how it can treat depression and addiction issues. And from there, I was interested in trying to obtain, psilocybin. And at the
hmm,
time, I didn't know anybody. So I did the next best thing I do is just to research. Uh, so I looked up guides on how to do it. I've tried it out. I've had some success with it. Um, and then having some experiences with psilocybin, I had a moment in my life that changed me when I had a heroic dose, and it turned my life upside down. It gave me purpose, gave me passion, allowed me to see my problems and face them head on. And
Yeah.
in return for obtaining this knowledge and this medicine, I wanted to give back to the community that has, showed love to me. Like when I first started
Yeah.
learning, people were very nice to beginners, and people were very
Yeah.
welcoming. There's a very
Yeah.
loving community in the mycology world, and I
Mhm.
wanted to give back to people. And that's why I wanted to start the YouTube channel. At the time when I did it, there was one or two other YouTube channels that touched on the subject of growing, but um, they get shut down quite often, and they don't last too long. And
Mm.
there wasn't enough people teaching about it. So I decided if there wasn't enough of something, I'm just going to jump in and try it myself, since I already know how to grow. And I just wanted to explain it in a much simpler term. My
Yeah.
philosophy is just keep it simple. And
Yeah.
that's what I aim to do in my teachings. I keep things very straightforward and explain them in a very fundamental way that almost anybody that is not even familiar with growing them can understand how to grow them. That was
Okay.
my motto behind all of my videos.
Okay. Well, yeah. Yeah. Heroic dose, for people that don't understand what that means. There's macrodosing. There's microdosing. Microdosing is taking very small amounts on a daily basis, or every for 2 days on and 3 days off. Everybody has a different regime. Then there's the macrodose, when you take a dose which has a psychedelic experience. Microdosing doesn't have a psychedelic experience, but it definitely changes your mood, elevates your mind, makes you more operate from a heart level, and it makes subtle changes to your life by raising your consciousness in very small and subtle ways. But the heroic dose is when you start taking 5 grams upwards. And some people say that 8 grams, beyond 8 grams, there's no clinical benefit from that dosage onward. I'm just curious, what heroic dose did you take? Were you alone, or was it a guided experience?
I was alone. It was 5.5 grams.
Okay, alone. Wow, wow. Because it could go horribly wrong, you know.
It
Depend.
could, but I did it with the most utmost intentions when I went into
Yeah,
it. I had prepared for this ahead of time. I had a plan for what would happen when I was on it. I had a playlist. I was ready to go, and I knew
yeah.
to surrender to the experience. When it
Hmm.
came on, it was very, a very strange experience to have gone through that.
Oh yeah,
Um, but having known what to do before the trip started to bring me onto that journey allowed me to navigate that space very safely. I was in
yeah.
bed with headphones on the entire time, laying down with my eyes closed for the almost the duration of the trip.
Okay. Well, yeah, I don't want to give people too much information about you and where you come from. We need to respect your privacy and your intention to help people, and we don't want to endanger that in any way. Um, so I think today was just a little tidbit of what's in store for the Sacred Psilocybin Summit in Santon at the Santon Convention Center next year on the 7th of September 2022. And PGT will be one of our speakers. and we're going to get to know him a lot better and ask him a lot of questions. It's so important that we really do proper research, like you mentioned, because things can go wrong. And intention is so important. The music playlist is so important. And respecting it. It's not a toy. It's a sacred medicine. Do you know much, a little bit more about psilocybin that you could tell us? Do you know how many species of fungi have psilocybin as the main ingredient?
Oh, there's many species. The most popular one is Psilocybe cubensis. Those are the most easiest. Those are the ones that are um, perfect for beginner mycologists to cultivate, and they're widely available. You can get into other species that contain psilocybin, such as Psilocybe azurescens or Pinnalia cyanescens. There's many different species that will contain psilocybin. However, they're a bit more difficult to grow and cultivate in the home setting.
And your handle on YouTube, Philly Golden Teacher, does that mean that the Golden Teacher mushroom is your favorite?
It is. Golden Teacher was what I started on when I first dabbled with cultivation.
Hmm.
They're widely popular variety, and they were very good for beginners that are getting into it. They're very
Yeah.
Since it's a very common strain. It's been reproduced out many times. The genetics of the Golden Teachers have been very stabilized over the years.
Hmm. Okay, great. I think let's end the interview here. And thank you so much for taking the time to meet with me this afternoon in Philly, US time. Thank you so much, and I look forward to speaking to you again soon.